We're on.
Right, in. That's it.
We're in, mate. Aye. Yeah,
Right.
it's it. Going.
Happy days. So, welcome to the podcast, everyone. Me and Brendan are going to do a little back and forwards today. Just going to sort of bounce off each other. I've got a few topics to cover. And I think we'll just both start off by doing a little bit of an introduction for each other. So, sort of like what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like where you're from, that sort of stuff. If you want to cover
The background, basic information.
Just a little bit of background. I know if you want to listen to a few of these podcasts, his first one, that'll give you a bit more information on it. But if you want to just rattle off.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I've covered pretty much the long story in my podcast, but
I was thinking
pretty much me. Yeah. So, there we go. That's the noise.
There we are.
One sit down. Yeah, but a bit about my background. So, played football since I was I can remember, but was professional for a few years, played for Newcastle United, played for a team in Scotland, but my career was kind of cut short because of injury. Had loads of issues with a few injuries and stuff, so that kind of ended up with me delving down the path of fitness, personal training. So I got qualified when I was injured at Newcastle, so about 3 years ago. So qualified personal trainer. Made the transition to actually full-time PT in December 2019. And then since then, started a bit of online coaching, started working at Nuffield Health as my first PT job. So it's the first thing I've ever done. And then also doing a bit of my own kind of self-employed side as well, training one-on-one outside, online coaching. And then I've started YouTube in January and now also the podcast literally like last week. Yeah, and also trying to...
I'm trying to get as many as I can in the podcast. I'm just trying to do them. Just because I know when we get out of lockdown, I'm going to be like busy, so I'm going to try and backlog them now and try and do like record them and just not publish them until I've got them. I'm trying to do like one a week or something. And
as soon as there's any sort of like, right, you can do outdoor training, it's going to be like, right, I need to get my clients doing this, that and the other. So
I think hopefully if it says Sunday, I don't think it's going to be too promising. Like, but if they get some like outdoor groups, then I'm definitely going to try and get like some sort of boot camp going on, or that's something to get all my clients out of the house and moving again, because it's some of them are starting 100%. Like it's been 7 weeks now or something. Like a lot of them are now getting like a lot of aren't motivated anymore. Like the first few weeks were sounder with our online clients, but now it's like they're starting to dip off a bit, and it's hard to keep going when I'm the same. Like I've been training, but it's like very minimal.
You lose that. It's not the same atmosphere being in the gym. Like I'm the same with because I've been doing online like live workout sessions with some of my clients, and I've noticed the last few, like literally the last week, it's like the numbers are dropping in half kind of thing. And I've messaged a few of them saying, "Oh, like I haven't seen you on live. How you been?" It's like, "Oh, I'm just like struggling a little bit with terms of like I feel like I need to sort the rest of my like work schedule out and trying to get that going rather than my fitness kind of side of it." I'm like, I'm just trying to encourage them to keep it going.
It's hard because like there's not so much you can do with like a band and like one dumbbell, and a lot of them saying like, "Look, I'm not, the workouts are good, but they're just repetitive, but there's not much more you can do. Like you can only do so many like press ups, like body weight and stuff. There's not a great deal that you can program for people, so you've got to try and make them a bit more interesting, but some of them are just dropping off." But
especially if you live in, you don't have like outdoor areas. So if you're living in a flat or something that, you're struggling.
I think from Sunday they're going to make you have longer for exercise, so it's going to be like either unlimited or 2 or 3 hours outside, which is better than what it is, but still you can't get much in.
See, I'm very fortunate to kind of live where I do. I can literally just go anywhere. There's no one around.
I'm looking out my back window and it's just like fields and trees and stuff, so I can go for walks and whatever. But I'm just doing loads of steps. I'm just doing loads of walking, and I started cycling a bit, but just get my cardio back up.
I know. It's got to make the most of it. Anyway, I'll let you like intro a bit just for my...
So, PT for around 18 months. Went to uni, did sports and exercise science there, did sport in college, so I was kind of always going to go into something related to doing either training or nutrition. I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do, but did my PT course when I was at college. Went to uni, didn't finish uni, did 2 years, then started PTing because I needed to get a job. So I was working part-time at the hotel as well, and then now still PTing. Broke my collarbone, playing football, was off for 4 months, lost all my clients, so I couldn't really tell them, I'll just wait 4 months until I'm back. You kind of got to go and let them do their own thing. I couldn't say, just wait 4 months and just don't do your goals, and then I'll just be back in the 4 months. So I was like, do what you want. So I only had like 4 or 5 at the time, which I built up quite quick. Lost all of them off for 4 months, lost loads of weight, like all my muscle was gone. Didn't play football, didn't leave the house for like 3 months. It wasn't good, like, and then got back into PT and got a couple of clients back, and then the gym that I was at closed, which was Pinnacle in Gosforth. So that closed in last February or March time, and then again back to square one. Lost all my clients, didn't have a gym to go to, so then found BHP where I'm at now. Been painting there since probably May, June time last year, so probably about 10 months nearly now. So, and then just been doing that ever since, been PTing, and then started online coaching in January, took on the first couple of clients, didn't really have much of an idea what I was doing. Like, I followed a few people online, like the big names, followed those to see what they were doing, get like sort of ideas and stuff from them. And then obviously lockdown happened, so then I had to overcut and become a very good online coach. So I had to like quickly switch from being a PT predominantly in a little online coach to having to put all my clients online, which was quite hard to start off with because I wasn't too sure of like the processes, checking ins and stuff. But it's quite good. I'm enjoying it at the minute. So hopefully just trying to push along. I've been getting a couple of inquiries in terms of online coaching, which is good, and just trying to put systems in place when I come back out of lockdown. PT and it's going to be booming because I can't see a lot of people PTing anymore. I think it's going to have a drop off. Like we'll get that question later on at the end. I put in sort of what will the industry look like at the end of lockdown, and we'll get to that later on. And our opinions on like what we think, how it's going to change in terms of like gyms, the capacity people can be training at, and how many people can be in the gym at once in terms of PT and training. So we'll get into that later on about how the industry is going to look. But I think
it's going to be interesting.
I think people who are good will do well and progress, and people who haven't really got sort of the motivation to do well, they'll kind of just drop off and go into another job just to pass time. So I think the people who want it will succeed really.
Yeah,
but
I know
it's a hard one at the minute. Like it's just the thought of not knowing when the gyms open. Like if they put a date when the gyms are going to open, I can like plan so much more.
It could be like they open them up and then closing down again. You never know what's going to happen.
That's the thing. I think it's going to be quite hard to put a pinpoint on when it's going to be. But I think we were speaking about my gym. I think it'll either have to be like one-to-ones for the first couple of weeks, clients only, maybe some group stuff, and then obviously still pay our rent towards the gym. But I think full capacity in gyms will not be happening anytime soon. Like
I think with your gym, that'll probably be the way to go. But with mine, because it's kind of like a health centre kind of thing, like a David Lloyd same sort of thing. Like God knows what they're gonna do.
Yeah. So is that are you employed by them or are you like self-employed?
So I'm employed. So we do it's like the minimum hours. You have to do your 16 hours. Obviously, there's like overtime shifts kind of thing going. But you have to do them. But they
is that like an exchange for rent?
No, they pay you out. So the way that
that's
the PT works is they take. That's the reason I kind of started the job, because when I came back from Scotland after playing football there, I needed a job, and that was a good way of income and also a good experience. Which is like I've mentioned it to Rich in the podcast we done yesterday. It's a good way to get into the industry, just because you've got that kind of backbone of like money coming in, that you know that's going to be there, especially
like
if you're starting out. Yeah, a little bit of security net for starting out, but then you're also learning on the job kind of thing. You're always interacting. So when you're on shift, you're doing things like you're doing your classes, you're doing what we do at health MOTs, which is just you're in a medical room almost. You're doing blood cholesterol, blood glucose, BMI, and all that sort of stuff.
Well, the fitness test on people too.
Yeah. So it's just something I feel health do. So you've got to learn to be able to communicate with people. And then it's also that kind of set what do you call it, learn how to pick up clients sort of thing.
So you could use that time that you're in the room with them to try and coach them,
to try and get them in,
what the problems are and how you could be the solution to. It's a good setup. Like I say, like that's a good way because you're getting paid as well as then you can do everything that you want and work around your business. And do you do stuff at home as well? In your own?
Yeah, I do my own stuff as well back home. So like I'm fortunate enough to have my own home gym. So when I left, I had my own flat close to town when I was at Newcastle. When I left there, I moved back home, and I was just like, I'm just gonna set up downstairs garage as a little gym. And then when obviously I finished football in Scotland, moved back, I've just started doing it like local, like people, like friends of friends kind of thing. The words, it was picking up a little bit before lockdown as well. I had a few people then. I was doing a few nights a week, so that was going well. So just literally out my garage. And then there's a gym in Hexham where I know the owner, who he said if I wanted to, I could kind of use their gym to train
What's that
clients,
one
but I haven't
called?
really done.
The next one?
It's called No Limits. So
Oh, right,
there's a
okay.
few little ones, but it's a decent like old school kind of gym.
Aye.
So I know the owner. They've been quality with me. I've done a few shifts there as well, just to kind of cover some hours and stuff. But bring them back to your kind of story, because it's weird, because in a similar way we've been through like setbacks and stuff, like overcoming injuries, stuff like that. And like you were on about with going out of lockdown, how PT is going to be completely different. It's just overcoming kind of setbacks and boundaries and adapting to the situation, isn't it? Because
Aye.
like
100%.
life's never gonna run smoothly. Like I try to tell people, especially like in the podcast that I've done, it was about kind of the football side of it. Like
Yeah.
football's never gonna go this. It's never like
Nah.
just straight upwards unless you're blessed and you're never injured. And there is people like that out there. I don't know.
Yeah,
I hate them.
definitely.
How things just look like that, and like, things obviously might not be like that
Yeah,
realistically.
like you say, football back in the day, I was never really injured. Like, I wouldn't have said I was the best, but I was like decent. Like, I played
Yeah.
decent. Like, I played county. Like, I had trials and stuff. I did little bits around, but obviously I wasn't like the best, and I never had injuries, so I was quite fortunate with that. But then when I got into college, we did like the football course at college, where I would like travel around the country, played at like the mini I had next to the Man City pitch. That was a good pitch. That was a great pitch I played on. But then it kind of like doesn't feel like I'm still playing Saturday and Sunday now, still at like a decent-ish level, but it's not one that I was ever going to pursue.
Shoot
I was
off,
always going to be more of like a hands-on job kind of thing. But like you say, in terms of setbacks and stuff, it's all about like that process of like how you've got from where you are to where you are in the end. Like, I just did a podcast last night on like sort of focusing on the process and not the result. So like too many people focus on what they want instead of how they're going to get there. And obviously the setbacks do happen. So like I say, with me it was like failing uni. I didn't fail uni, I just didn't finish the third year, which I'm going to try and do a podcast on. It's a bit of a juicy one, but I'm not going that. I've had a few on the first one I did. A few people said, "Oh, why didn't you finish uni?" And a few people messages, "Oh, what's the podcast going to be about?" And I was like, "I don't have to tell you yet." It's a juicy topic, but like I say, didn't get through uni, and then got myself a gym. I was in a gym locally, and it was all right. It was working shifts, but I was getting paid by the hour, minimum wage, and I wasn't really PT, and so I was like, I need to get out of there. I need to do my own thing. Went to Pinnacle. I was doing 16 hours unpaid work in exchange for free rent, which was all right at the time. And then I was getting my PTs on the side, which I kept. And then now I'm obviously paying the gym rent, and I get to keep everything that I'm making. So I've gone through sort of 3 different gyms and 3 different sort of styles of PT. And so I was working as an employee. I was then working for free in exchange for rent, and now I'm paying the gym rent. So I've kind of gone through all the processes to get to obviously where I am now to paying rent to a gym to PT at. So gone through all different ones. So yours is quite lucky to be fair that you're getting paid.
Yeah, I know. See, I was going to say, I don't think people realise, like, especially people who are starting out, which is like a topic that we're going to get into anyway.
Yeah.
Like starting out, I didn't realise kind of how many hours you had to work to be a PT until I've actually started like applying for jobs and stuff. It's like even like the pure gyms and gym groups, you have to do like at least like 13, 14 hours minimum unpaid. And like, for me,
sorry, go and carry on.
I was going to say, for me, coming out of like, I wasn't used to working I was playing football, so it is a job. It is hard work, but it's just a different world compared to real world. And I remember my first 8-hour shift felt so long.
I could imagine.
Honestly, I was coming home like to my girlfriend who works. She's a nurse, so she works like 13 hour shifts, and I'm just like, how do you do this like every day and wake up? And then you get used to it eventually, but it's just a completely different world. But a lot of people like coming into PTs to think it's just like, oh yeah, you get paid £40 an hour to go and train someone and just shout them saying, all right, do some curls, do some bed. It's completely not what you think it is.
When you get into it, you're kind of thinking about what you see successful people doing. So if you go on Instagram, you're seeing PTs who got full diaries and making like 3-4 grand a week being full. But you don't realize how many hours they're actually putting in to get there, and then how many they're still doing. Like I was doing 20 hours at the first gym I was working, getting paid, but I was taking classes and stuff, and I wasn't really into taking classes. Like I've never really been one to take classes. I was doing like step, exercise, and like it was more of an older scene, so I was comfortable, but I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do. And now I was working, getting paid by the hour, and then the second gym at Pinnacle, I was working 16 hours unpaid, So I would start at 6 in the morning and I would finish at 9 at night. So I could
Yeah.
have broken the day up. Do you want to do the 16 hours off the bat, or do you want to do like 2 days? And I was like, I'll just do the full 16 hours, get out of the
Just
way.
get out of the way.
And the rest
Yeah.
of the week was mine. But I regretted that straight away, because I was doing like Monday morning 5:30 till 9 o'clock at night, and it was brutal. But it was good. I got experience in different gyms, and there was different PTs, so you could then learn off to see what they were doing and how you could try and get yourself better and stuff. But it's different how different people have different gyms and different setups. Like I've went to go to Pure Gym. I was going to get a job at Pure Gym, and they were like, 20 hours unpaid, and I was thinking like, that's a lot of money that I'm not.
A lot of time,
getting.
Isn't it?
Like,
a lot of time.
And then I'd rather just do my own thing and then try and build it up before I went there. And I've tried a few different gyms around Newcastle, and some people's rents are ridiculous. Like someone wanted 450 quid a month rent. And it's not a lot if you're making a lot, but when you're starting off and you haven't got a lot of clients, if you're paying £450 a month, I was like, I can get a house for that.
I know. That was my rent for my first flat, $450, I think.
That's what my mum said. She went, if you can pay rent to a gym for $450, you can move out. I was like, all right, fair enough. So I was like, I'm not paying $450, but I've got a good rate now, and it's a good setup where I'm at, and I'm pretty happy, to be honest, where I'm at the minute. I'm enjoying it. It's really good.
Yeah, I think definitely for people starting out, something like the thing that I'm doing is perfect kind of thing. And then once you build a good little client base up, then you can kind of move on to like your rental based things. But honestly, everybody has their own path. Like some people might go straight into like a Pure Gym or something like that, where you do your minimum hours unpaid and then smash it and then take off. Like the only advice I'd say to people, is just go and do something, just pick something and just go for it. And if it doesn't work out, like unless you obviously want some like being a bit stupid and going to a gym where you have to pay 500 quid a month rent with no clients, it's a bit of a risk unless you're very, very confident in your ability to get clients.
I would start off slow and like build it up. So that's going on to the next topic. So we've gone into like sort of our backgrounds and what we're doing at the minute, and in terms of both of our business wise. The sort of next topic was to be sort of growing as a PT and sort of advice for, like I say, what we've just been talking about there, young people coming up, not necessarily young, but anybody starting off in the industry, sort of advice or just some tips on what they can go around doing things, or how to start off to sort of set yourself up to be successful instead of just diving into the unknown, basically, because it's quite a scary industry if you have got no sort of plan of action and you're like, right, I'm going to be a PT, and then you're thinking, where do I start? I need a gym, I need clients, like how am I going to get clients, how am I going to keep clients? Like you need a lot to think about before you're doing it. And I was exactly like that when I first started. I was like, oh, let's be a PT, it's easy. All you need to do is write a few workouts out. But then you sort of all of a sudden realise, like, shit, it's not as easy as people think. Like people think it's like a laptop lifestyle where you're just sitting typing on the computer all day and you're chilling, but it's a lot of work that people don't realise in the background. Like programming, like social media, keeping clients, like retaining clients, like making sure that you're doing everything you can to provide a good service. It's a lot of work that people don't really like. This sort of stuff that we're doing for free for people. People like don't realize like how much you put in to try and get, like, if I could get one client from doing 4 podcasts, it's like 5 hours of work for nothing just to get a couple of clients, but it's worth it.
It's worth it. 100% is.
People don't understand what you've got to put in to get it. So just a quick one before I'll let you take a lead in a second, but obviously we're off at the minute, so I'm in the house and me dad's at work, and he's like, oh well, what have you done today? I was like, oh well, I did a YouTube video, did a podcast, got a few Instagram posts, typed it up, did some online client work. He goes, well, how much did you make? Like, isn't it like a joking on? He's like, how much did you make today? And I was like, what do I make off me online clients a month is what I made today. And he was like, well, how much have you made? I was like, that's not really what I'm doing this for at the minute. Like, obviously I'm making money when I'm PTing and not in lockdown, but lockdown at the minute it's hard. Like, I'm furloughed from my other job, luckily, so I'm getting money from them, so that's sound. But he came in, he was like, oh, what are you making? Like, joking on. And he was like, well, come to work with me. I was like, no, because I'm trying to do this sort of thing. So I was just trying to for other people to understand what you're doing to set yourself up to then be in a better position to like podcasts, Instagram, YouTube, social media, all that at the minute I can do for free to try and build on it.
it's just that like they call it like the entrepreneur lifestyle. Like you've got to do a lot of stuff for free and a lot of stuff that people are thinking, oh,
100%.
like why are you not making money? Like, but it's just promoting yourself out there, showing that you've got knowledge. That's another thing as well. Like starting off as a PT, you might have all the knowledge in the world and done a uni degree, done all this, that, and the other. But if you can't put it across to people so they actually understand, and if you
Definitely.
don't come across like a nice guy, no one's going to want to PT you. If you're like
Definitely.
dead serious and like, yes, if you're working this muscle for like you know the stuff that
Gotta
like
have
that
a
Jim
bit.
Smith takes the mick out of.
Aye.
Like,
I think
he
it was,
doesn't.
do you know Phil Graham? He put a quote
Yeah,
on the other day. He's like, you could have like all of the information in the world and be like knowledgeably the best coach, but if you can't like communicate and put that across to people, you're the worst coach. You could be a
100%.
mediocre knowledge. You could have like an average knowledge of what to do, but have great people skills, great communication, and be able to get a client to enjoy the process, and then you're going to be a really good coach. So you don't necessarily have to have the most knowledge. You just got to be able to get it across to people
Yeah.
to how they can do things. So
Yeah, because some people do like as personal trainers, like we are like there to obviously train people, get people fit, but some people literally like the social aspect of it and kind of having
definitely,
someone. It's like an hour away from their day, so they might have a stressful day at work, and they've got that PT session to kind of come and they'll talk to you about stuff. They'll get a bit of a sweat on, and they'll get themselves feeling good. So like you're not just like a coach. Doesn't matter if you know how to get the best chest workout done.
yeah.
Like you need to be able to make people feel good as well.
That's
And
what I say to a lot of my clients. I'm like, I'm not here to break it. I'm here to build you up. Like, I'm not here to break it down and make you feel shit. I'm here to build you up and get
yeah.
you to feeling good. Because it's not all about having the worst chest DOMs for 4 days after after a
Yeah,
session. Like,
it's like
that's not what a client needs.
someone's just finished like a long day at work and they've had the worst day. They've had an argument with the missus. The kids have woke them up all night. They've had 2 hours sleep. You're not gonna get them doing a 60-minute like Metcon that's
Nah,
got like 100 burpees, and it's like you're not gonna do that. You're just gonna do something that's gonna make them feel good. So it's learning your client as well. That's another little bit of advice, but just like moving on to like what we're talking advice for people starting off, like the best thing to do is just get yourself talking to people in the gym. So if you're on the gym floor, just walk around, pretend you're cleaning bits of equipment and stuff, and just like chat to people. Or someone's like, you see somebody in the gym a few days in the week and they've looked like they're training hard, just say to them, all right, look, mate, you're doing well, kind of thing. Like watch your, like just talk, just be really busy. That's what you've
yeah,
got to be
you've
as a
got kind of
PT,
got to be
especially if you're in
everywhere.
that.
Like,
Oh, it's
definitely, you've
and
got to
get
be everywhere.
yourself like
So in
uh-huh.
terms of like online, I think that's a big presence. Like, be on Instagram, be on Facebook, be on everything, so people know who you are. And then in your area,
Yeah,
try and be as busy as you can. So whether that is, like you say, doing boot camps outside for people where people know where you are, just for people in your area that know who you are, and then to broaden it into sort of your city, and then for everybody else to know who you are, again,
yeah,
being online, and again being as busy as you can. And
yeah,
a big one for me is people starting off PTing because the gym's a hobby for them and they're not really bothered about like sort of helping people. So it's more, being a PT shouldn't be your hobby, and it shouldn't be just what you do in your spare time. It should be like your life. It should be like your main job, and you want
yeah,
to sort of focus on helping people, and instead of sort of helping yourself just to get the money off people. Like, too many people focus on
mm-hmm.
getting the money, and that's them help themselves instead of helping other people to build them up, like
Yeah.
we previously talked about.
The money will come if you if you are a good PT, you come across like well, and if you help someone out, like you might help one person out. Even if I was speaking to Rich yesterday, and he was great talking about this. Like, it's not about yourself. It's not about how big your chest is, how good you look good on Instagram. It's about the client. But he was saying like if he had a client that wanted to get like fit for football, he said I'd probably pass them on to you just for advice and stuff,
Yeah,
because I'm not a specialist. He's more like fat loss and transformation and
yeah.
stuff
There's
like
a lot
that.
of transformation
Pass
stuff.
them over. But if I said to him, like, that's great, because like, first of all, you're willing to accept that there's someone out there who's like probably the client's probably more ideal
Suited
for.
for them.
But also you're helping that client out more by sending them to the right person. And I said like
100%.
they might then go to like their friend might say, oh, this PT referred me to this PT who's really helped me out. But you want to lose fat, so I'm going to pass you over to the right
Yeah.
PT kind of thing. It's just word of mouth and getting a good kind of
Like, there's that many PTs. I think there's enough. Like, a lot of people say it's oversaturated. There's too many PTs, but I think
yeah,
the good ones stand out a lot from
100%.
the crap ones. So I think there's that many good ones. There's enough people to pick between everyone. So like, we've
Yeah.
got our own setups in different sort of areas of like Newcastle. Rich has got his, mine, yours. There's like obviously a few other good PTs in Newcastle, but if you could probably think of maybe 5 to 10 good PTs in Newcastle, and I can guarantee there's probably about 50 plus,
There's
if
loads.
that is
There's
more.
ones you'd never heard of.
So like there's some like I put on my Instagram saying like, oh, tagged in Newcastle upon Tyne. I was like, I've never seen this kid in my life. Not like it could be bad, like that's not a problem. He could be doing really well in his own little world, but there's like you know who the good ones are, and those good ones help each other out. And
there is PTs that are probably on social media and they're probably smashing it. Like I know 100%. Ones who the social media following is probably really small, or they just have like a private Facebook group just for the clients, but they're smashing it in there. It's just because like you might have 100,000, like these big Instagram stars who have got like 50,000, 100,000, 500,000 followers. Like there might only be about 100 followers that actually interact with them like daily kind of thing, like they're actually maybe clients sort of thing. Definitely. Whereas there might be a person who's got 100 followers, but every single one of them followers actually like messages all the actual clients kind of thing. So don't worry if they don't have a big following. It's not really about that. It's about kind of helping.
Again, sorry, just going back to like the podcast we did yesterday, again, like not focusing on the end result, so focusing on all the followers or having all the clients or all the money. It's kind of what you are, where you are, and how you're going to get there and get those like little clients. Like the little ones count. Like every other client matters, and it's not necessarily just because you've got the big following that you're going to have good followers. You could have a massive following, and you might not be the best PT. You could have 10 followers, and you could be the best PT in Newcastle.
Exactly.
So,
I listened to TM Cycles. He done the podcast. I think it was TM Cycles. Yeah, it was, because obviously he's got his own website, sort of what you call it,
member site.
Member site. That's
I'm on his member site.
You're on it, yeah.
It's good to be fair. That's where I got the online coach. Well, when I was going to start online coaching, just to dive in again, he's got like a full area on how to set up as an online coach. So like your systems, Google Documents, like check-ins. He shows you how to set everything out. So I was like, I need to get on that because it's like $4.99 or something. He's got over 2,500, only 3,000 people.
Exactly. I was just about to say he's got like that many people, but he's on, what is he on, like 40k followers on Instagram? I don't know how many he's probably not on he's not on like massive amount, but
I think he's on about 30. I think
so if 30. He was saying obviously he's making very good money because he's got such good interaction with his followers. Like probably, you know, when you look on your stories and you have how many followers look at your stories, he's probably got half of his followers actually looking at his stories compared to like say, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but someone who's got like 500,000 followers. I think he said he knew somebody who was that big and they put out like a training program, like an ebook or something like that, and apparently nobody bought it. No. They just, nobody kind of thing.
I think they think that they've got the knowledge to sell things, but they really don't have any knowledge. So people aren't going to buy, or people who are just trying to sell something. If they're given, like TMC gives you lots of knowledge for a $5. If someone's selling a training program that somebody else has probably written, like them, these like Instagram reality stars aren't probably writing these programs that they're selling. They're probably just paying someone to say, like, look, they're probably paying someone like me. Just right, there's 100 quid, write this program for us, make it look fancy, send it to an editor, and then they're selling it on their Instagram and getting the money. So a lot of them aren't even selling it, to be fair. I wouldn't imagine.
Still buy. I know people still buy them though, but like there'll be certain times when the things like that just don't go down well, just because like it's like people that you follow just because you follow. It's like you follow The Rock because he's The Rock.
Yeah.
Like, but then like you follow people like me or you kind of thing because like you kind of you enjoy the content, and because we're doing a lot of things not for a lot of money kind of thing. It's like we value it a little bit more, and I don't know how to put it.
No, I know what I mean. Because I think people value free content a bit more if it's from people like me and you.
It's because it's like our passion sort of thing. It probably comes across in our content as well, rather than just somebody who's been on a TV program or whatever, and they're just sticking a program just because they can, or because the agents told them, they'll be a good way to
it comes
make money.
With it sort of shows who we are, and I think people follow you because of sort of the content you put out, but they sort of follow you to actually follow what you're doing, if that makes sense. So like they're not just following you to keep scrolling through, there's Marcus again today, but I think they follow you so they can actually follow your journey and your progress as well. So I don't really follow a lot of like mainstream. Obviously I follow like the main ones, you know, like Steve Cook and all them, and like all the Jim Trot ones, but I try not and follow. He's killing it. He's killing it.
Smashing it.
What do you think of
Rich spoke about yesterday? It's ridiculous.
What do you think of his Alpha Land thing?
It's I don't, wait, to be fair, like, he doesn't need to do it, does he? He's just doing it because he
Insane.
can. He's just got so much
The
drive
size of it,
and
like he did a video yesterday and he was walking around it and showing you all the spots, and I was like, I would get lost doing that. Like, he's just got it all in his head and he's so switched
yeah,
on. And the fact that he's got all these mates in one place, like he's
yeah.
got all these
It's
other
such a
pals doing
good
pass.
tight circle, which is another like topic that you can kind of go on, like having a circle of friends who are in the same kind of the same goal, the same drive kind of thing. That don't be hanging around with people that are just going to drag you down. Like, I've been fortunate that a lot of my friends have. Be fair, since I've made the transition from like football to PT and doing YouTube and stuff, I thought I was scared to do it for ages because I thought I was going to get absolutely ripped for it. But honestly, it's like everyone's being top like class with it.
Aye,
You
definitely.
don't if
You do want people
look at if people are looking at you and seeing that you're doing something that you love and you've got your passion into it and they can see it every day, they're not going to rip you for it. If they're real friends, they're not going to rip you for it. So
100%.
just make sure you surround yourself with people and they'll push you along the way.
That's what my dad always said. He said if you start hanging around with shit, you start smelling like shit.
Yeah,
So
I've heard that one.
it's just gonna bring you down. And not a lot of my mates went to uni and they all went straight into apprenticeships, straight into full-time jobs. And so once I came out of college and into my first or second year of uni, all my mates, including like my brother, were all on like full-time wages. And I was just finishing uni going into PTing. So I was like, I was like sort of questioning, should I be PTing? I'm not making a lot of money at the time, and all my mates are making now full-time wages. So I was like, do I follow what they're doing just to sort of be the norm, or do I kind of be not the black sheep, but they've all got apprenticeships, they do their own thing, and I was just finishing uni going into a unpaid job for 20 hours. So I was like, should I really be doing what I'm doing, or should I just follow the norm and get a job and just settle down and do the full-time thing? So I was like, nah, I'm not doing. I've always kind of considered myself as not just following the norm. Like, I've always wanted to be a bit different and do my own thing and not follow the get up 9 to 5, do a job. Like, I'm not really about that lifestyle. So I've always been the one that's just doing my own thing. So they've kind of thought, what's he doing? Why is he doing this? What's he doing on Instagram, walking around the middle of Newcastle on his phone and that, and vlogging and stuff like that. I think a few of them understand it, but not a lot of them like get like why I'm doing it. But it'll all pay off.
I know. It's good though. That's another thing. That don't just follow the crowd and don't do what everyone else is doing, and also don't like look at someone else and say, "Oh, look, they're making that much money, but I'm making this much money." But you're on a different journey. You're on a different path, which is something I talked about in my podcast as well. Like, everyone's on their own path. Like,
that's exactly what I did last night.
Yeah, if you're looking at someone on, especially social media is a big thing, so we'll probably talk about that loads, but if you look at someone on social media and they've got, like, online coach-wise, you can tell the clients are smashing it. They've got probably, like, 50, 60, 100, God knows how many online clients, and they're absolutely killing it, and you're sat here with, like, 2 clients, and one of them is completely, like, not replying to your text or anything. You're like,
what am I doing?
What am I doing? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what do I need to do? But don't beat yourself up for it. But you might have just started out, and it takes years and years and years, and
100%.
like things happen. But
like, people are at different times of the journey, so you've got like you can't compare to yourself who's maybe 20 years in the game, 10, 15 years, and you're a year in the game. Like, you can't justify thinking, why am I not doing what he's got or having what he's got, because he's 10 years down the line, 15, 20 years. Some people in your year into the game, you can't really compare your 2 lives, because they're probably coming out of it, they're finished, they've forgotten more than you know, basically. They've known so much stuff that they've probably forgot half the stuff that you don't even know already. So you can't compare yourself to other people. That's just not a big tip. Don't compare yourself, be a bit different, and try and just stay.
I do it all the time. Like I said to Rich yesterday, I look at him and I'm like, he's like got 60 online clients, he's smashing it, he's got like property and stuff like that here, there, he drives a nice car and stuff, and I'm like, with that, I'll someday. But like,
he's done well, Rich.
Don't get frustrated.
He's done well, Rich. I did my PT course with him when I was at college, and then I didn't do anything with my qualification for nearly 2 years. And I think he went straight into doing his PT. So I went to uni. I think he did. Did he mention that he went to uni? I think he did 1 year at uni, and then
did he? I didn't realize that. I know he set up the gym and stuff, and then
he had like 2 gyms, and then he started off. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that he went to uni. I think he did go to uni.
All right.
I think he went to uni. I think he did.
We've stitched it up now anyway.
I think he's about 2 years ahead. So like, again, like, he's 2 years ahead of probably where we are now. So if you think where we are in 2 years' time, I could be anywhere in 2 years' time. I don't know where I'm going to be. But I know I'm going to be next week, so I'm going to be stuck on lockdown. But I'd like to not
Yeah,
think
I know.
where I like to know not what I'm going to be doing. Like my mates know they're in that job for how many years now, and I like to kind of know that I'm not going to be. I don't know where I'm going to be next year or the year after.
Yeah.
In terms of, obviously, I'll be PT and or online coaching or wherever it'll be in the industry, but I'm not. Don't know where I want to be. Like I quite like
Yeah,
traveling. I
exactly.
like getting around and stuff. So
I'm the same. Like anything could happen. Like you don't know where your life can go. Like I
no,
thought to my like I thought I was going to pursue football. Now I'm pursuing this. Things could change again. Like there could be another opportunity that comes up. There could be something that comes from doing podcasts for someone. You might just talk to people. Like that's another thing. That the more things that you do, the more people that you're going to meet, and the more opportunities that are going to arise from
definitely,
it. So
100%.
just do anything. Like you could just end up talking to somebody on a podcast, and they're like, "Oh, my friend was asking about this. Do you want to come and try this?" And then another career or something could just like
Definitely.
come from it. That's when then overnight successes come from years of doing something. Then you're in the right place at the right time, meeting the
It
right people,
happens.
and then
100%.
things happen. So
It's a bit
just
like
don't be
sort of
afraid of doing stuff.
playing football. Like you could have played for 4 or 5 years and not had that one chance, and then you've turned up one game, you've
Yeah,
played your best, and there's someone there watching. Like then that's your
yeah.
time, and then you've got it.
You
So
kick on.
kind of you've got to taking advantage of what you've got in front of you, and try and, like you say, be busy and open to opportunities, and don't be set in your ways. Try and be open to different things.
Yeah,
So like I say, don't just be one. Like with PT, and if my PT was the only income, I'd be screwed at the minute because
yeah,
you've only got one revenue stream. So I'm trying to broaden your range, but
100%.
like you can't. I forgot what the term is now, but it's like you can't be a master of all trades. Or
Oh yeah,
something.
was it?
Be a master of
Oh,
one trade, but
I have forgot it as well. Now I
something
went
of
blank.
it's.
Um,
I don't know. I'll try and find it. It's a master of all. You can't be a master of all trades or something, and you've got to be good at
It's
one.
like I'd rather be something of everything or nothing. I can't remember it as well. I went blank,
It's
mind blank.
basically don't do everything.
Everyone will know what we're on about. People will
And
know what we're
if
on
you're
about.
listening, let us know because I
And I'll
really
put it
need
in
to
the
put it on
comments or
Instagram.
something.
But like you don't want to sell yourself and try and do 5 or 6 things and be crap at them all. Be good at one and then progress. So be a good PT, then progress online, and then you can progress into doing other things. Try and master one trait before you then get.
Yeah,
Because if you do too much, you're just going to get overwhelmed
yeah.
massively, and you're not going to be
I
able to
think that
focus on one.
as well when you're starting out, and like there's probably people who it might not just personal training wise, but they might just like leave school and they don't have a clue what they're going to do. But just try loads of things out, and then once you find that kind of one thing, just put 100% into it.
You
But
just got to try different things, 100%.
yeah, put 100% into it. But I'm kind of on the fence with this because obviously I went down one path, but I also knew that I had a passion for like I went down my football career, but I knew I had the passion for fitness there, and I also knew that football isn't a job forever. Like you're tired. Like if you're
Yeah,
lucky, you make it to 30 kind of thing. And same with PT. And I feel me and Rich discussed it yesterday. It's like it's a similar thing. You can do it until you're like what, like 60, if you
yeah.
really
You wouldn't
wanted to.
really
Like
want to be alone. Yeah.
there's a PT in Nuffield who's like I think he's in his 60s as well, and he's still doing it. And like fair play
If
if
he
you do
enjoys
it.
it and if you're enjoying it, then fair play. But I don't want to be PT when I'm.
Yeah,
I
and
want
it's
to. I want
long.
to
I
say
don't want to
like
be doing.
40, 50. Like I want like
Yeah.
my end goal is like a gym. Like Ollie March on.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that sort of setup, like a
It's
gym,
goals.
got
That's
people.
a dream.
But I'd happily have like a very successful gym, but then to hire like some of the best PTs to then come work in my gym, let them charge rent,
Yeah.
and have like that system where it's just the gym's running. You've got your members, you've got your clients, PTs working for you, and then I can go off on holiday somewhere. That's
Yeah, you can chill,
set
mate.
a nice gym
Just
up and then just
watch the
chill.
money come in. It's like
So I don't want to, obviously no one wants to be PTing till the 50.
yeah, it's
It's a
long,
good it's a
long
good
hours.
it's one of the best jobs. Like I think I love it, mate. It's one of the best things I've done, and I'll
Yeah,
do it for as long as I can until it starts affecting other things. Like if it starts bringing us down, then I'm just gonna say like, but I'll be doing it
yeah,
until I'm happy, and then if it starts changing, I need to get on holiday somewhere. I'll just move on.
yeah. I know.
You
Get
can
away
still do
from that.
online stuff as well. Like if you can keep doing online, that'll be
Uh-huh.
perfect as well. This makes too
I think
far.
online, Anna. Online is the end goal for a lot of PTs. Kind of transition away from them one to one because if you think like how many people you can actually affect online rather than just one to one, like in an hour. You can only affect one person doing one-to-one stuff, or if you got a boot camp, fair enough, that's pretty decent. You can do
Yeah,
quite a few, but online you can just affect so many different people. Whether it's doing like ebooks or whether it's doing online coaching and stuff like that, you can affect loads within a short space of time, and all over the world. So you one-to-one, you're just stuck in like your gym. Like
It's
where
fine.
online you can
You're
just
not getting anywhere if you've got, once you're full. Like I think once you get full and you're doing 40 hours a week, you'd probably burn out after like 2 or 3 years. So it'd take a good 2 or 3 years to get to where you want to be in terms of having a full client diary and or whatever's relevant to the person. So say you could do 40 hours a week, maybe 50 hours. They're long days. That's a long week of working back to back. I think if you did that constantly for 3 or 4 years, yes, you're going to be rolling it. You're going to be minted doing 4 years full time. Then after 4 or 5 years of being full time, you're going to burn out and you're going to be like, you'll start hating it. I think because you're doing
yeah,
too
it's the
much, you
same
start
routine.
resenting it a
Yeah,
bit more. So that's when you then change and do other opportunities. But hopefully by then, in 5 or 6 years' time, you've got different things going on.
yeah.
You've got different. You got all your fingers in different pies. Shall I say?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know, and that's it as well. Because if you're doing the long days, you're sacrificing your social life as well. And I want to have a social life. I want to still be able to enjoy it. Like, I don't mind. I'm all for like having a period where it's like a few months, just stick it out. Or it might have to be a year. Like, just stick it out and just work your ass off. And then after that, you can kind of maybe, all right, I'll take a half day there, kind of thing. I'll make sure I have a half day, or I'll make sure I take 1 day off a week, kind of thing. Like, just for my own sanity. And then I'll make
Yeah,
sure I might have it like be able to have like a month holiday. Like you don't know, you need to be able to enjoy yourself, and I'm
100%.
all for having a good time as well.
I think a
Go
good,
nights out and stuff. I'm all for it.
definitely. I think a good. I love a good night out. That's my problem. Like Monday to
I've heard.
Friday, Monday to Friday. Normally, I'm a good. Who off, Rich?
What?
Let's put
I'm
one
not
in.
going to name names on the podcast. I'm not going to stitch anybody up.
Right, sound. On a Monday to Friday, I'm like clean eating, train every day. Obviously, I'll play football on a Saturday, so I'm sounded on a Friday night. And then after football on a Saturday, all the lads were out to the pub,
Yeah,
a couple of pints, have food at the pub afterwards, and then like it's the weekends that kill us. But you've got to live for the weekend. Not you don't live for the weekends, but you've got to enjoy yourself because then you're just not you're not gonna
yeah,
enjoy it again. You're gonna feel down. And I think a good solid 6 to 12 months hard work can set you up in a very good position. Like it can get you ahead of a lot of other people if you just grind out a good 6 months to a year. I think that'll probably be the case after lockdown. I think if a lot of people then just get their
yeah.
head down, you can be ahead of the game a
Yeah,
good year.
especially the
Doing,
fact that we can't go, we probably won't be able to go on holiday for the next
aye,
like year.
definitely.
So it's a perfect opportunity, I think. Like you have to have them periods, and if you think about it, sacrificing a few nights out for 6 months and saving it up, like you can enjoy yourself more at the end. Like I'll probably do the same. I'll probably just grind it out. I might try and get away at like Christmas for a few days or something, and then it'll just be kind of wait until next summer because, like I said, we're not going to be able to get holidays.
I was maybe going
And
to Bali in September, like Bali in
yeah,
Dubai.
I was meant to have because I do most because I'm just so used to doing my holidays football season wise. So most of mine
Huh,
are going to be in June,
right.
like just for well, I'm going to start playing part time football as well anyway, so it would work out all right.
Yeah.
So I had like 2 or 3. I had a festival which got cancelled, and I had family holiday, and then me and my missus were going to try and get away, and I was going to try. I didn't know if I had time to try and fit like a weekend with my mates away somewhere, but
All
that's
might
not
have
going to
been
happen now.
cancelled,
So
like all might have been
yeah,
cancelled.
everything's so just get your head down and grind that out for the next probably 6 months at least.
100%. And
I'd
then
probably
you've set
say.
yourself up for maybe a year. You're a year ahead of people because I think going into, well, we'll jump into the next one, sort of how the industry will look after, because
Yeah,
now we're talking about how we're going to grind it out for a good 6 months to try and build up what we've not necessarily lost, but we've obviously had a couple of setbacks with being off this whole
yeah,
8 weeks. We're not doing one-to-ones. We're not doing what we normally would on a day-to-day basis. Um, so like after lockdown, I can see a lot of people just falling out of sort of love for PTing because they haven't done it for so long, and those are the ones who aren't doing it to help people, aren't doing it as a career. They're just doing it, like I said earlier on, as a hobby. So I think a lot of people will drop off from PTing, and I think
hmm
it could be a big opportunity for a lot of individuals like me and you and Rich, for example, to then
yeah,
progress and build up a lot more of a client base because there's going to be spare clients lying around because people have either ate too much over lockdown, they've drank too much over lockdown, they haven't done enough exercise, or the PTs just sacked it off. So there's going to be quite a few
yeah,
options which are going to lead to hoping a lot more clients because PTs are going to drop off. I think it's not going to be as saturated as everyone goes on about.
yeah. I know, and I think the ones like you said before, that the ones who haven't really been doing much during lockdown and kind of just being like, all right, I'll wait until it's over. They're going to struggle loads. I think the people
You can
like we've
tell.
been,
You can
yeah,
tell
we. I could
online.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can tell the people who are being busy online and stuff, like who are going to smash it coming out of it, because one, they might have picked up 1 or 2 extra clients, and people might be looking at them during lockdown and thinking, "All right, they've been grafting away," kind of thing. He looks like he's got a bit of knowledge. Might come to him after lockdown.
Definitely. You
So
you want to
yeah,
be the face that everybody's noticed over lockdown. So
yeah,
the past 8 weeks, you want them to be sick of you. So like I'm doing some stories I'm doing every day, and I'm getting to the end of the day, and I'm putting one up, and I'm looking through them. I put like 30 stories on in one day, and I'm like,
yeah. I
they're
know.
gonna be sick of me by the end of this. But then when you're out after lockdown, you're like, oh, I need a PT, or I want to do this, or I want to get this result. Then you know, oh well, who's that kid I seen over Instagram for the
Yeah, you
past
got to
8 weeks
stick and
being hammered?
stand out.
Then that's their trigger to, oh well, I'll message him who I've seen.
Uh-huh.
The people who've gone quiet just aren't gonna like succeed and progress in it.
Yeah,
It's a bit harsh to say really, but like they're not gonna get much if you're not willing to put the
yeah,
work in for free over the times when people need it the most, because this is the time where people are struggling in terms of motivation. So like, that's why we're bringing the podcasts, the workouts, the live workouts that you're doing. So it's
uh-huh.
doing a little bit more for people to then they realise this is the person I'll go for after lockdown,
Yeah.
basically. I think
Exactly. No,
it's
I like your point about standing out as well, because I think too many PTs is like that stereotypical Instagram PT. Now I feel, and a lot of people go down the same kind of route, and I've kind of tried to, since I started doing PT, try not to copy people, especially like with my YouTube and stuff. Like when like a TM Cycles video starts, you know it's always like the same sort of intro. Like, he's got his own kind of like vibe kind of
yeah.
thing going. It's just a lot of people probably look at people like that, and then when they come to setting up their own brand, they might copy it a little bit, but just try and. I had probably a good. Well, I haven't really watched YouTube that much till recently, but
Who
like
would you
2 or 3 months away.
who would you say is like I'll say 5 sort of people that you follow for sort of business, PT, and online coaching sort of inspiration, if it would be, to like what's your who do you follow? Like obviously we mentioned TM Cycles, Josh Bridgman. I'm gonna say they're two very. Do you know Josh?
Yeah, Josh. Yeah.
So like they're two quite similar people. And then like there's that online coaching world of them.
Uh-huh.
But like who would you sort of follow in terms of
Follow
that sort of
wise,
thing?
well, TM Cycles definitely, just because I think obviously he's just building up slowly, and in terms of his engagement that he
Yeah.
gets from his followers, and he's always following the trends that you've noticed. He started following the Call of Duty trend at the minute. Like, you see, and he's like, see, I don't
Uh,
really play COD or anything like
I've
that, so but I know
never
there'll be a
played
lot of people who
anything in my
love it.
life. I've never played like on
Yeah,
an Xbox or anything, PlayStation. I've never had one in my
yeah.
life. I've never been
I
that
used
kid
to,
to sit in and play. Like oh, I had to be out
yeah.
or doing something.
See, I
So
stopped when I was like 15, 16. But I like he's great with like following trends and stuff. So he's someone definitely. Ollie Marchon, you mentioned already,
yeah,
just from his work ethic. Tell you what
business
else I like for
things.
his work, yeah, business, everything in terms of like he shares some quite good stuff as well.
He does.
Um, like all his PTs are very decent. So like I follow one of his PTs. I think it's Bag. I don't know how you say his name. Like the Bago or something like that. He's an absolute animal. Some of his workouts are quite good.
Right.
Or Baggio.
Okay. I'll have a look after
Max
this.
Baggio or something like that. But he's very good. Who else do I follow? I like quite like is it Jack Thorburn? I find him quite funny in a way, but he's
Yes.
so like serious
A lot of people
bodybuilding.
don't like him. I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of it online. Like a lot of people don't like him for some reason, but I follow him quite
Yeah,
well. He was one
I
of
spoke to him in Scotland. He was dead canny, to be fair,
the,
but he's just very strict bodybuilding. Like he gets up at like 4 o'clock in the morning every day, does his cardio,
I
and
know
like he
he's
just
very
doesn't.
regimental
I think
to what he
I've heard he
does.
hasn't had sex in like 3 years. There's like things going around like that, because he just like he
Aye.
says he hasn't. Yeah, there's
I hope
stuff
he's
like
not
that.
listening to this. Like,
Oh,
I doubt
sorry,
he will
mate.
be.
No,
I doubt he
but
will
there's
be.
like
Like,
no,
but,
no.
but
I like his stuff. I
so do
like
I.
how
You've got like the
and like
online coaches, like AJ Morris. He's a good one.
he's
You've
quality.
got
Yeah,
like obviously Jack Thorburn. Like they're sort of the dominant online coach and bodybuilders. But then you've got like the influencer online coaches, which again is like TM Cycles, Josh Bridgman, and
Bridgman.
then you've got to have like people like Guzman as
Yeah,
inspiration. Like, you've just
stuff
got to
like
follow him
that.
to know like he is that. He's there, and I'm like, yeah, I need to get there.
Yeah.
Like he's
Uh-huh.
just got it, and I think he's smashed it. Like, but I don't
This
really
is
follow like
just.
all of the top like the
No, I'm trying to think
mainstream
of other
ones.
people. I've been following people recently just for workouts and stuff. I like Fitness by Rugby. I think he's from up here.
I tagged
He's
in.
like
Is that what I tagged in?
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, you tell
Yeah,
me in it, man. I
yeah,
like
he's
his
good.
stuff.
He's good. I think
Um,
stuff that I'm gonna be benefited from now. Like I used to follow all the Gymshark people just because they were Gymshark athletes, and
just
you're like,
did,
oh, that's
yeah.
what everyone wants to do. But now I'm following people for a bit of information, how I can like learn. So like Only March on shares a lot of about like self-development, mindset stuff, how you're gonna like improve personally. So a lot of that sort of stuff is who I follow. I don't really follow like all of the gym shop people where the bicep and the
Yeah,
dog
I
in the
think I
kitchen.
do, but they're kind of, because I don't look at the stuff, they're kind of like
In
the
the back.
stories and stuff don't come up anymore. Yeah,
I went through the day and just followed all like so all the shit that I don't.
I need to be
At the end
fair.
of the day, it just clears everything out because then you're not seeing shit posted all the time. It's
Yeah,
more information. It's stuff that you need to or want to see, other than just because it's there. You're just scrolling for the sake of it. I just got rid of it. And
yeah.
I'm like, don't need
It's like
that.
the same thing with surrounding yourself with people. Surround yourself with, like, because social media is such a big thing. Like, surround yourself with the content that you want to kind of be
100%,
influenced by.
definitely.
So a lot of mine at the minute is like workout stuff. Just like Zach George is a good one.
Aye.
Team Richie, I don't know what his name is. The YouTuber Team, he's a CrossFit YouTuber.
Right. Okay.
It's called Team Richie's his Instagram, I think, but his stuff's very good. Me and Richie talked about him yesterday because he's just so positive, and so like watching his videos makes you feel so good. He's just
Aye.
such an
That's what you
upbeat
want though.
kind of character.
100%.
Can't think of any people on top of my
I
head.
prefer people like me and you and other up and coming people who sort of need the support more,
Yeah,
but then who still do bring a lot of value.
yeah.
But they just might
Or
not
like
have the thousands of
Joe
followers.
Grace, because he's just started a new channel, a new
Yeah, I know Jay.
fitness account.
I
His
know Jay.
content, you can tell he puts a lot of
His edits are
effort into it.
unbelievable. His edits
Class,
are
aren't they? Yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah.
Like it must take him 2 or 3 hours for like one little story when like he's talking in the background over the phone.
It's not. I
It
seen
must
one where he pulls the thing across, and
that must take
it's
like 3 or 4 hours to edit for the 15 seconds on Instagram. Like
so.
we've spoken
You
about
best,
doing some sort of like shooting at once
yeah,
because he goes to JD where I train as
yeah,
well with Abu. So we were gonna like, we'll get a session in, and I was like, look,
yeah.
he's a freelancer, so he doesn't really charge people at the minute. Well, he didn't at the time. I was like, look, I'll just pay you, and we can get some like good shots because he's a mint photographer. So I was like, look,
Yeah, his content's. I like his
real shot.
style and stuff as well.
And he
So
got a
shout
new
out
page.
Joe. You best be listening.
Yeah, you will be. You better be. I'll share you.
You best be. Just get a shout out.
Yeah, definitely. Was it Joe Gray? Joe Gray Fit.
Joe Gray underscore
Gray Fit. I think Joe _ Gray Fit. If you're listening, which you will be, shout out to the sick content. And we need to get a
Everyone.
3-way going. We'll get some edits.
Yes. Yeah, Joe __ Gray Fit.
Yeah, I've got you.
Shout
Shout out
people
Joe.
who are on the camera. If it goes on YouTube,
If you want the best edits, follow Joe.
There we go.
So we've talked about sort of our journey in the industry, what we've done in terms of PT and coaching, and the setbacks, how to grow as a PT. We'll give some advice on new PTs, what they can do in terms of, or what not to do. And we've talked a bit about how the industry will look like after COVID. Have you got anything on how that'll look, do you think, after? Obviously we've touched on like PTs dropping off and stuff, but have you got any sort of thoughts on in terms of like gyms reopening?
Yeah, because
like population capacities and stuff.
Yeah, I think I've heard the gyms aren't open until October now. Apparently, that's the rumor.
That is mental. If that is the case, it's going to be a long few months.
It's a very long time, but I think realistically, it'll probably, like you said, like gyms like yours, because it's not like I think like leisure centres and stuff
Commercial
like that are
ones,
probably going to be, they're going to be probably the last ones to open realistically.
Definitely.
But ones like that, like privately owned kind of thing, I think there'll be more one-on-one stuff.
Yeah.
To start with, and then they might allow like very small group stuff. But I think PT wise, you're gonna have to start doing outside training, like small groups. That's what I need to do. That's what I was doing before lockdown. Well, literally for about 2 days before I went on lockdown, when the gym shut, I had like the weekend, and then I'd done about 2 or 3 sessions outside, just 4 or 5 of my clients. Then I had a few one-on-one ones, but you're just gonna have to adapt to the situation, I think. And then because gyms probably won't be open, and if you're working in a gym, you have to be cleaning loads. I think
that's what we were doing the first 2 weeks before we went in lockdown. You'd like touch something, I had sanitizer on with, like clean it down, and it was like just having to get it clean for the next client to come in, and having gaps in between your clients. So I couldn't do one like 5 till 6, 6 till 7. It was like 5 till 6, and then I'll have to wait 10 minutes to get everything cleaned down, get them in, make sure they're sanitized. So I think for a long time it's going to be different. I don't think even into next year, I think social distancing, I think a lot of restrictions are going to still be put in place to make sure it doesn't break out again, because that's the last thing anybody wants is for this to come back again, because we're just getting almost out of it now. The light at the end of the tunnel, we don't want it to come back. So I think there'll be a lot of precautions into place where things aren't going to be as busy, like full capacity wise, and it's just gonna affect a lot of people. But I think, like I say, if you want it hard, like, enough, you'll do well,
You'll
and if
make
you
it
don't,
work.
you'll drop off. Like you can, like we were saying before, you can see who's doing well at the minute and who's working to put themselves in a better situation for when it's finished. And it's the ones who've gone quiet, who are just going to die off and aren't going to really be what they want to get out of it at the end of it. But it's going to be weird. I can tell you that it's going to be a weird situation.
It'll be
because if the
we're
gyms
going back into a gym.
it'll be better to pick up some dumbbells that aren't like 12 kilos. I'm sick of it. If that is the case till October, like, I'll probably look to invest in some sort of like squat rack, so I can get like bench pull-ups.
Adjustable dumbbells are decent.
That's what I have.
Like turny ones, like you literally just like press a button either side, and then the side pops out and you can turn it. Mine goes from 2 kilograms up to 36 or 38.
That's what I need. So I'm just probably like something like that, like a barbell, like some bumper plates, and just like a basic squat rack so I can do like pull-ups. Bench.
See, I'm thinking because of everybody, like I see, especially like the big bodybuilders and stuff who are like really serious into training. People are investing that much into home gym equipment. I'm worried about people actually
gyms reopening,
willing to like sign up memberships. I don't know. It could go one of two ways. It could go everyone's dying to get back in the gym.
I enjoy the process of writing my workout out, planning my workout. Like sort of, it sounds weird, but picking what gym like gear I'm gonna wear, driving to the gym, like having a pre-workout on Monster on the way, and then training. Like I like that process of the environment of being in the gym. If I had the home gym, like even if I had the best setup now, I still probably wouldn't be as motivated to train. Because it's hard to come from sitting in my room doing a podcast to now be all of a sudden eager to go and train. Like it's that switch that I can't change as quick.
You need that routine to kind of.
I need like something to get in, and I can't be blasting me heavy music in the garden when I've got like someone next door and someone next door there. So I need that gym environment.
My neighbours hate me.
Well, one of them's deaf, so we're like, all right, and the other one's just he's all right. But I don't want to be training in the back garden with me kit off and that, and I want to be getting. I want the gyms open, but it's going to be a long process. I think. What have you got any sort of plans after lockdown, or what's the first thing that you're going to be doing after lockdown in terms of, obviously holidays are going to be on the forefront.
Holidays are done, yeah.
What's
like I said,
what's your goals after lockdown, or what's your goals where you want to be?
I think just pick up. I think I want to continue. Obviously, the podcast is a big thing for me that I want to start and keep trying to push. Like I can feel like it's something that I'm probably going to enjoy most out of a lot of things. So probably because since I've started doing my podcast, the YouTube, I've kind of like not I've lost interest, but I can just tell my heart's more on the podcast.
I'm enjoying these podcasts. I think
don't mind, mate. Just
interesting. They're interesting because you get to find out about other people, you get to learn from them, and then you also there's two people being able to help all the other people who are now listening to it. And I enjoy doing the solo ones because the solo ones are a bit more structured, where you've got what you're going to say and kind of the topics and stuff. But these ones are good for listeners to bounce off, and it's like a lot of information for someone to listen, so they can have it on when they're walking and stuff. And I love listening to podcasts, so I think this is one thing. Like YouTube, you look at people like at the minute who are doing all these videos of like how much you make off like 2 videos, and like Matt Does Fitness, he did one. He made 33 grand off a video. And I was like, that is insane. But you only got like 12 million views. Or only 12 million. Jesus, what am I saying? Only 12 million views. But to get there, it's like 5 or 6 years work. And it's fair enough.
I think now it's going to take even longer to get to that point. Unless you have like a YouTube video that goes viral, or unless you're like collabing with like Joe Delaney every week or something like that. I don't know. It's just going to take ages, because even if you look at TM Cycles, it took him 4 years to get to the point where he's at now. Like it's going to take us probably longer unless we get.
I think everything's changing. Like I did a rant yesterday on my Instagram because of the engagement and stuff, and like just being able to grow on Instagram, social media, YouTube, whatever it may be. I think to grow on social media now is going to take twice as long as it would when you were new to the industry. So say TM Cycles was on Instagram 5-6 years ago. Even when you got 30,000 followers now, like it's going to be a long way to get there. But I'm more than happy to put that work in to get to whatever many followers.
It's about followers. If you enjoy it, then it's like I talk about enjoying the process. Like if you enjoy doing it, and that's what you like, even if it takes like 5 years to get to that point, like
if you've got it all of a sudden, like if you woke up tomorrow with 50,000 followers, you'd be like, but okay, great. Like
Yeah,
what we're going to do now. So it's kind of
yeah,
like you want that sort of goal to get away with. Because if you woke up
yeah,
tomorrow with like 50,000 followers, you'd be like, okay, great. Now what do I do? It's like you've got to try and
yeah,
you've got to fill the time. You've got to get something out of
yeah.
it. Like, you know what I
Like
mean?
even if that did happen, I'd just be like, I'm still just gonna keep on doing what I'm doing. Like
I'd still post
it's
podcasts
not like I'm not gonna like stop completely. I'm gonna
just
like
because
take a
you've got where you
holiday.
want to be.
Yeah, I know. It's not like that's gonna happen. You just gotta if you enjoy it, if you enjoy the process, then you're gonna keep on doing it for a long time.
Definitely, that's why I think PTs do last quite a while. Like you say, there's people who are doing it when they're 60. Like if you enjoy it, then you're going to do it for as long
Keep
as you
doing it.
can.
Yeah.
But
Keep
I
doing
say in
it.
terms of like growing on social media, like the YouTube for me is a hard one because it takes a lot of time. Like podcasts aren't bad. You could draft up some notes of podcasts for 30 minutes, do 30 to 45-minute podcast is an hour, but to do a
Yeah.
YouTube video, it's like a full day. Like to record it all,
It takes
to edit
a
it,
long.
and it's a
Yeah.
long process, which I quite enjoy. I enjoy recording and like content development and like all that sort of stuff, but it's the editing side of it. Like I might just have to pay Joe to start editing for us.
Yeah,
But
I know. That's the dream. Paying someone to do your videos and stuff.
so like
That's what a lot of the big people do, isn't it?
exactly, and when you look at like Matt and he's making 33 grand on a video, if you're doing a couple of videos, even a couple of videos a month, pulling in like 30 grand a video, I'm not all of them on that
Yeah, but
much, but
I've seen Joe today, and he done one. He makes about like £2 grand a month, I think, on average, which is a very solid income from just doing YouTube.
and then he's obviously got like his sponsors and stuff and like all that
Yeah,
on the other side of it. But like I watched, do you know Brandon Harden?
yeah,
I'm not really a big fan of him, to be fair. If he'll not be
yeah,
listening, he blocked us on Instagram
yeah.
twice.
He
Actually,
Did he? He slaughtered. Was it Bridgman? I think he stopped him because
yes,
Alphalete was sending Alphalete, like Chris Guzman followed him, and he was sending him gear, sending
yeah,
him
I seen
like
it. And
clothing and
they
stuff
did
like
a video
that.
together
And
like
then
not too long back, I think.
yeah, and then there was a thing with him potentially meeting Chris Bumstead and stuff, and they were talking, and then I think Brandon
Brandon had quite
Hollins
a big effect
just
on
yeah
him.
just
I
said
know I'm not sure
something.
what happened because they did a video together. I can remember they did a video and
It was
the
Josh. I think Josh said something like like it's good to like interact and get each other's followers kind of thing, and I think Brandon took it as like, oh, like he's using me to steal my followers kind of
steal.
thing.
I'm
But like no,
not a
like
big fan, but he did a video and he
no.
got like 15 million views, pretty much the same as what
Mhm.
Matt did, and he got $500, and Matt got 33 grand for the same amount of
Yeah,
views.
it's how you
And
monetize it and stuff, isn't it?
100%. And then he blocked us actually on Instagram. I forgot I was going to say about that one. He blocked us on Instagram twice on both me accounts. I got me personal one and me fitness one. He blocked us on both of them.
What was that for? Do you want to delve into it or not?
No, he put something online, and I didn't like call him out. I would have said like that's not necessarily true. About something that he put on his story. I can't remember what it was now. And then he was like proper like straight away in my DMs. Like, I wouldn't have thought he'd read it. Like, do you know, like all the big people who would just brush off
I don't know
the
why
petty
he'd be
little
so
comments.
triggered off
He got
someone.
so
Like,
triggered. He was like DMing us. I screenshotted them, but there was a good year ago now, and there was paragraphs saying like, "I'm trying to influence people. Like, why are you putting people down?" And I was like, "Fucking hell, all right." And then I called him out because he had a pair of fake Yeezys on. So I thought, I was like, I'm going to wind him up now. And I like your trainers if you can, like, I've got a little setup here. And
yeah.
I was like, you wearing fake Yeezys, mate? And he's like, what? And I was like, the fake, and he blocked us straight away. I might title the
That's
podcast.
it. Yeah, I know. This podcast are getting wiped out.
We've called out everybody in this podcast.
We're never collabing with Alpha Elite ever. That's us. That's our deal finished.
Guzman, if you're watching, can I get an invitation?
What about you?
Yeah,
I know.
So we'll kind of wrap it up. We'll just go into sort of what's your, I know I said what you want to do after lockdown. What's your goals? Do you have any specific goals in terms of where you want to be, or do you have just to keep progressing in your PT and in your coaching?
Yeah, I think for me, just because I'm starting out kind of thing, it's just progressing day by day. I don't really set long term goals because like I said, anything could happen kind of thing. But short term, just keep on doing what I'm doing. Like I'm kind of doing more and more. I can see like I'm building momentum. Like I started off just PTing, then I delved in a little bit online stuff, and I started doing more PT out my garage, and then I've started YouTube, I've started podcasting. I'm starting to help more people. So just
keep pushing,
continue doing what I'm doing really, and then anything could happen. Like I could dive more down the kind of football training route. Like my football could go well again when I start that up again. You don't know, like anything can
you
happen.
never know,
Just
mate. We might come against each other.
I know.
If you start playing again, what would you go? Northern League?
Think so. I don't know. There's potential to sign places, but I just don't know. I'm going for the enjoyment. So wherever I join the game, like if I end up playing at a higher level and I enjoy it, I'm gonna keep playing it because like I've put how many years of my life, like 12 years, well longer than 12 years, like 14 years of my life training pretty much every day for it. So like, it would be a shame.
That was obviously the goal of the kids to be a footballer, isn't it? It's like
Yeah,
my dad
everybody
played for
wants
like
to be.
Carlisle and Derby and stuff, so my dad was quite good,
Yeah.
so I was always into playing. But like I say, if that comes up again, then you want to try and hammer that.
Yeah, no, I've keep people messaging me saying, "Oh, mate, you can't like give up and stuff. You got to keep doing it." But I don't know. If it just depends how the injuries hold up, how the old joints
How the old knees hold
survive.
high.
Yeah, I know, mate. Getting
No,
old.
good. I would say goals wise for me, I would
For
just be
yourself,
to
yeah.
keep pushing, build up the PT to full time, get a good. Well, I wanted 10 online clients by the end of lockdown, which is not really
Yeah.
far off, to be fair. But towards the end of the year, I would rather be like a good 10 to 20 online clients, like a good book of PT clients, and just. But I wanted to open a gym in January. That was me goal.
Yeah.
In obviously January coming, I was like, I want to get I've been looking at premises. I was like, I want to get a gym, just 'cause I want my own like private studio. Because obviously I'm paying rent, which I love the gym that I'm at, but the rent I'm paying could go towards rent to my own little place. I could build that up, do a private studio, maybe get a PT in with us who I know, who I'm quite pally with, or who's good, who could bring a lot to the business, get a PT in, maybe charge him a little bit of rent, and then he could work through the gym and we'll have like a little private studio. But I think that's going to be put on the back burner
for now,
a while because of the situation. I think just get back to working hard, putting the hours in, PT and online coaching, growing the social media side of things. So the podcast is one that I really want to put a lot of time in. Like you've mentioned, Instagram is one that I'm really trying to push as much as I can, if it lets us, because it's been a bit of a bitch at the minute. And again, a little bit on YouTube, but that's one that's just going to come up as of when. I'm not putting all my time into YouTube because it's your reward to what you get back isn't great when you're starting off. So that'll be like one every 2 weeks, podcasts 1 to 2 every week, and then Instagram every other day, PTing clients as much as I can, just to again put myself in a better position, which I go on about a lot. People are probably sick of us saying I'm trying to put myself in the better position so when I come out of all this, I'm ready to go. Like I've done a lot on the back end of the business over the past few weeks to try and get us ready, like new coaching sheets, programming, all that sort of stuff that bores people, but it's what needs done to have a successful business at the end of the.
Like,
and we'll get a train session in. That's a goal after lockdown.
I know, mate. We need to get one in.
Me, you, and Joe. We'll get he can get the content in.
I said to him, if gyms aren't open stuff, you should come round. I know it's a bit of a trek, but come round just to my garage gym, just because I know he's got a garage gym as well, doesn't he?
His looks like hardcore. It is. It's solid, like rusty metal and that. Is good. We'll get Rich in. We'll see if he can outlift her.
Yeah, no, probably that. Probably, I was going to say, just before we finish, I've been doing this just with my, well, it was only had one guest on since, but you're my second guest, mate. So
Privilege.
3 little questions that I'm just going to ask all my guests. So the first one is 3 people you'd invite round, where you want to invite round for a dinner or for like a coffee or something, just invite round. Who would you want to?
Alive, or could they be like, can I bring them back from
If you want to have a corpse sitting down at the table with you, but you can.
3 people. Shit. Off the top of my head, I would bring the lad off Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, right. I don't know his name, but yeah, I know what you mean.
I would bring him. What's his name again?
I don't know. I'm bad. I'm terrible for names.
Terrible at it. I put him off the Wolf of Wall Street just because of the movie. He would be just a dive into his head to see like what.
What do you mean, the actor or the actual?
No, like the guy, like
the actual. Oh, yeah.
Like what his life was. I'd bring him just to. I think if everyone was sitting around a table, had a few drinks, he would be the person who would just listen to all night.
Yeah, just story time.
So him. Oh, hey. That's a hard one. I'd bring Guzman. Yeah,
Rich said Guzman. Yeah, he did.
Just to bring his like how he's so motivated and like how he's doing so many things at once. I would just say like, how do you manage like a gym, a clothing brand, a distribution center that he's got? Like he's got so many things going on. I know he's got a big team around him, but he's the person that everyone's around. So the guy off Wolf of Wall Street, I don't know what his name is. Guzman, and Oh, it's a hard one, that, like. That's a really hard
Ah,
one.
no, it is. I should
Third
have
one.
sent you them beforehand, to be
Uh-huh.
fair. I should have
Third
given you time to prep.
person I would bring around a table at a dinner party. I'll say you.
Oh, cheers, mate. I
I'll say
appreciate
you.
that. Thanks.
We'll say you, and then
I'll
we
be
can
on
go and
my...
train after.
Yeah, we're going sound that. I'm happy with that.
Right.
I want to meet Gooseman anyway, so I'll happily come to that party.
We'll
Perfect.
go to Alpha Land. We'll fly over.
Alpha Land, I know, that's the dream. Right, next one.
No, then.
3 people you'd want to train with. So similar, you can probably choose Gooseman again if you want.
Train with. Oh, probably TM Cycles or Bridgman, just because of like sort of the knowledge. I pick their brains on what they're doing. Steve Cook at his gym, just for the experience of like training with like Steve Cook, and probably if I could go back in time, like Bronny Coleman or something, like someone like like Jay Cutler or someone like one of the old pros, just to like just the volume and like just to be absolutely beasted on chest for an hour and a half. So I'll probably say that like them 3, either PMC or Bridgman for like the knowledge. Ronnie Coleman or someone like that, like the old schools, just to be absolutely annihilated by them. And who did I say for the second one?
What is it, Bridgman thingy? Cook, Steve Cook.
Steve Cook, just for the experience of being mistaken.
And then,
I like this.
Yeah, and then last one, just one thing that you would say to yourself 5 years ago. If you could go back, speak to young Marcus.
For what I'd been doing 5 years ago, so I would have just finished in college, second year. Probably would have been to not sort of follow the crowd, because I went to college just because a few of my mates went to college to do like the sports excellence course where you play football in the morning and you do your college course, you play football in the evening. But like,
I probably played against you then, you know, in like a friendly. Did you ever play in Newcastle?
Are you not the kid I scored against?
Oh, I didn't say that.
I've never. Probably, well, we used to play a lot of college games. We used to play a lot against college, Newcastle, Sunderland, Middlesbrough. We played a lot of the. So we probably have. Played, I would have been in the pitch. I would have been centre half. You'd have been keeper. I wouldn't have got anywhere near you.
Oh, I would have been injured. I don't know. I probably would have just been watching.
On the sideline. So probably not to follow what everyone else is doing in terms of going to college, because I think college wasn't a waste of 2 years. It got us into uni, but I probably didn't need to go to college, and it probably would have been to finish university and to get through the third year, even though I didn't do it. But yeah, probably just not follow. After that podcast, I'll try and do that maybe next week.
Yeah, I'll be listening to that one.
It's not that bad, to be fair. It's just I don't really like telling people about it. It's something that it's not really like one that you want to. I'll tell you after. I'll let you know after. But once I stop recording, I'll tell you why.
Just end recording and then we'll talk after.
Right. So yeah, probably just stay in my own lane and not follow what the crowd are doing, just to please what everyone else is doing. Like, be your own person, stand out, and be your own person, follow your own path.
Perfect, mate. Spot on.
No, I like that. Like, happy days.
Right, spot on.
Thanks for tuning into both our podcasts. It'll be on both the channels. Go and follow, if you listen on mine, go and follow them on Instagram. Yeah. Hit YouTube up.
Shout your Instagram out just for people.
MGM Fitness _. Same for me, Instagram, podcasts, the Muscle and Mind. The Mind and Muscle podcast. I always get that mixed up, you know. The Mind and Muscle podcast. The Mind and Muscle podcast. And go and follow Brendan on his if you want to shout yours out as well.
Yeah, I was going to say mine's just Brendan Pearson Fitness. And then Instagram, I'm on Facebook as well, but I literally just copy and paste whatever I put on Instagram for Facebook. So just follow my Instagram. YouTube, just Brendan Pearson. You can type Brendan Pearson Fitness and it'll still come up. And then podcast, it's just called Process. But for some reason, you got to type my name in. Just type my name, Brendan Pearson, on the podcast, because it's still. I think because it's a new podcast, it's
they're
still
right down at the bottom of the picking list, aren't they?
Yeah, so
I've been trying to search mine. I'm like, where is it?
Yeah, that's what I do. Search. I just put MGM Fitness in and it comes up. So just search for my podcast, just Brendan Pearson. It's called Process. So a few episodes up already, but spot on.
Nice one. Good one. Right, appreciate. I'll see you in the next. I'll stop this recording now. I've got to stop.